Welcome to a new episode of the Terry Sullivan Show. I'm your host, Terry. And today we've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to interview the new Chief of Police of Lewisville, Texas, and I can't wait to get into it. Let's go inside and find him. We got to go in Chief Rollins' office and wait for him. Let's go. I'm going to do some stuff in there. Don't tell him I'm going in there either. This is the coolest place. You know what I think? I think I'm good for this job right here. I can lead people and put people in jail. Rachel Roberts wants me in this job right here. Don't tell him I'm here. That's what I'm talking about right there. Right there. I'm gonna take one of these right now. You know, I've always wanted to sit in the police chair. Look, I'm the chief. Woo! Woo! What? Oh, okay, all right. This is what he probably does all day long. Now, you're looking at Police Chief Terry Sullivan. Chief Rollins, it's good.
You're here.
Listen, I was just kind of making myself at home.
It looks like you were making yourself at home. Did you change anything?
I didn't change anything, but I stole some things, and I'm sorry about that. One of the things is what you don't need. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. How are you? I'm good. I'm here to see Chief Rollins. Terry Sullivan.
I think it looks fine. Yeah. You look good.
I don't need any encouragement from two guys that don't have any hair.
You don't know what you're missing.
Welcome to the Terry Sullivan Show. I've got a great show lined up for you today. I'm at the temporary police facilities and fire facilities, and I'm talking with the new chief of Lewisville Police Department, Chief Brook Rollins. And I've gotten to know him a little bit. I've gotten to know him enough to where I really like him. But joining us today is a veteran of the Lewisville Police Department, Bill Wawro. And I've gotten to know Bill, and of course his wife Janine, and these people are just the salt of the earth, and I'm so glad Bill's gonna join us today. Well, he was the deputy police chief before Chief Rollins took control of the organization, and he is still the deputy police chief. We're gonna talk about a lot of things today. I'm so glad to be here. Chief, welcome.
Thanks for having us today.
It's good to have you, and as part of Lewisville, Bill, it's always good to see you.
You too, sir.
Bill, I'm gonna have to, before we get going here and I lose my train of thought, I'm gonna have to ask you to maybe limit Janine's barbecue visits.
Too much evidence here. My wife is amazing.
I wouldn't mind her coming so much, but she always comes with Yolanda, and they're so disruptive. I'm gonna need a little bit of control over them. I may need a police officer when they come in.
They pride themselves when they get together on their disrupted behavior, and they like doing it in your place, and so.
I always enjoy having them when they come, and I said that to eliminate any further disruption when you come. Janine, okay. Chief?
Yes, sir.
So you have been here since February 1st.
Yes,
you
sir.
took control on February 1st. But before that, you were the deputy police chief at the Arlington Police Department for you were there for 22 years, and you played a role in just about every bureau under that roof. And then you were hired to come here over to Lewisville.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's exactly right. Yeah, it was a great experience being in Arlington. I learned quite a bit about policing, and then I had the opportunity to serve, as you already mentioned, in all of the bureaus the department had, and I think that's what helped kind of develop my understanding of law enforcement, both from an experience side and then also an expertise side. And so that's what led me here to my next step in my career.
Chief, you want me to call you Chief or?
Brook is fine.
Brook?
That's what I tell them to do. Yeah.
I feel kind of funny doing that.
It works. You know, it works. I don't live on the title that I have. I don't live on the rank that I've achieved. That is not something that defines me. It's an odd thing to hear sometimes. And I fully admit, you know, there are a lot of people, I've had people in an organization try to talk me out of letting people do that. I fully admit when we're in hallway conversations, I really don't have a problem with that. I get it. We may be in a in an operational, meeting, or we may be meeting with elected officials, and it makes complete sense in that case to use title, I'm fine with that. But I don't direct my staff to call me that. They do it whenever they feel like it's appropriate. But I think it's more personable because behind all this gear, that's who I am.
Well, after all that dialogue, I'm just going to call you Chief.
Okay, that's fine.
You know why? Because my mother will watch this show and she will say to me, you were very irresponsible.
I think Janine would want you to call me Chief. Yes,
Whatever Janine wants, we're going to go.
That's what I've taken from this meeting so far. Yes, sir.
So, Chief, when you were at Arlington, most recently, before you came over to Lewisville, you were the Division Chief of Investigative and Tactical Support Division, which included the event management at the AT&T Stadium, which was Cowboy Stadium, and also at the Texas Rangers Stadium.
That's correct.
So I'm going to ask you this. So you literally had to manage those events with security. When the Rangers were playing in the World Series just last year, how involved was it to manage that security?
It was it's more security than I think people can wrap their head around, from a planning and execution, and then a post-management approach. Dealing with that many people that are traveling to the area to attend a very viewed event nationally, and in a lot of cases internationally, televised event, there is a pretty significant security picture that goes with it. In addition to local, that was a very well-attended federal partnership with all of the different federal agencies that we enacted and brought in for that event. It was extremely complex, and it worked well because the staff has had a chance to do that so many times.
Chief, when it comes to managing events like that, how concerned are you about terrorism? Because there's a lot of people in one place.
Right.
How concerned are you?
It's a very concerning topic. We plan in law enforcement, we plan a lot for the things that we think might happen, whether it be traffic, or in this most recent week, we've been dealing with weather. And then we also have acts of violence that could occur as well. And I think all that just goes back to the best kind of planning that you can do to expect something to deviate from what the plan is. Because at the end of the day, when the doors open and that first pitch is thrown, this is a baseball game. We've done 70 or 80 of them this year so far already. We've run baseball games in these stadiums. The only difference here is now we're dealing with the enhanced security of the Major League Baseball, as well as the federal connectivity, and then all of our VIPs that show up for an event like that. And so we become we were part of a lot more elevated briefings and a lot more elevated intelligence sharing conversations ahead of those events that helped keep us informed and in the know. And those are relationships that were cultivated long before that first pitch was thrown that day.
My main concern is that you could not, for some way, somehow, get the Dallas Cowboys closer to a championship game.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys absolutely relied on us for security, and we had a phenomenal partnership. I'll tell you what, before I tell you about how they played, I will tell you that our partnership with Dallas Cowboys, AT&T Stadium, and Globe Life Field was second to none. Those were really experts in crowd management and managing stadium and event venues, and I always kind of humorously say I had an opportunity to supervise Globe Life Field where the Texas Rangers won the World Series.
Right.
And then I also worked at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys give it a go every year. That was basically how I've put that together. But those relationships were great. They were good business partners. Very, very good.
It's safer to say that now that you're over here than...
Much safer, yeah, completely. I took a lot of good friendships away with me from those event stadiums, and the people that work there care deeply about how guests arrive, come through security, and enjoy an event like that, to spend the money that I know that they count on and the taxpayers surely want. They want to know that they want to know they're secure without feeling secured.
Sure.
And so that was always kind of that strike a balance of the best way to do it.
You've been in leadership, you've been the chief in Lewisville since February 1st, 2024.
Yes, sir.
In your opinion, how's it going so far?
I think I would probably be more critical. Having my assistant chief here glaring at me is also probably helpful. He's going to tell you it's phenomenal. That's what I ordered him to do before we started today. I will tell you that it's been a learning experience for everyone, myself included. I'm at the end of the day, I am the outsider in this department. I'm the one that's coming in from another place. I'm the one that's got ideas that I don't understand the operation here, and so I have to be very sensitive to that. And so to your question about how's it going, I think it's going okay. I don't think that people are ready to pitch me out of my keister just yet, and I think that the reason it's going okay is Lewisville has spent a long time making a deliberate attempt to be a very workable workplace. We all work together. It doesn't matter whether we're in the police department or we're working in other city departments or even with our city leadership and our elected officials. Everybody works together. That's what's made it okay. So having I've had a lot of breadth to do what I want to do, which is great, and I've tried to be very deliberate about changes to be made because, in all seriousness, cops hate two things. They hate change and they hate the way things are sometimes, right? And so you really do have to walk a fine line of, if we're going to make an adjustment, is this best for them? Is it best for me? And if it's only best for me, I really need to rethink that and make sure that it's best for them. And I'm sure if I lined all 200 and some odd members of the department up and asked them, is this choice the right choice? I'd probably get 200 different answers. But I think being able to work for a department that's so welcoming for some outside perspective has been great, and that's what's made it at least good for me.
You just made a comment and you referred to the men and women here as cops instead of officers. Is there a distinction there, or do they really care if they're called cops or police officers, or is that the lingo inside the building?
I don't think the cops care. I think any way you spin a term on anyone, if it's derogatory, they're going to feel it. But I think that kind of tongue-in-cheek, cops is a phrase that we use just to describe one another. The other thing about this organization that I've really wanted to bring forward or make known is it's not just the 184 officers that work in this department. I've got an additional 85 professional staff members that work here as well, and they're just as important to me on this team of Lewisville PD than my cops. The officers that answer the calls for service for our community every day, that conduct traffic enforcement and what have you, and manage during the rainstorm. That's the forward-facing piece of the Lewisville Police Department. The other side of that are the professional staff members that hear that there would be no gas in the cars without my professional staff members. There would be no run payroll and schedules for those weeks. We would have no property secured that week. Nobody would be able to get a hold of their reports. There are a lot of people that really make the organization complete, and they all have to be here, cop and professional staff, in order for us to work.
Chief, I'm gonna go over here to your deputy chief.
I think we should.
And I want to ask him the same question because Bill worked under Chief Devers for how many years?
Well, he was chief for 5 years, but we worked together my entire time together. We got hired pretty close to the same amount of time, so I've done 25 years with him.
Yeah, so you've had an opportunity to work under two different chiefs now.
3. I've actually worked for
you go back.
Chief McFadden.
Yeah.
I got hired by Chief McFadden.
So in this transitions from leader to leader is always difficult. It's difficult on the leaders, it's difficult on the staff. How do you think that this transition has gone?
He mentioned part of it. It's a steep climb, right? I mean, we come from a great tradition here in Lewisville, and we've had 3 great chiefs. I've worked for all 3 of them since the 1970s, and I haven't worked since the 1970s, but the chiefs have been here since 1970, right? Chief McFadden was, and he's the one who hired me, and I worked with Chief Curbo and then Chief Deaver. And all of them different men, but always held up the great standard of the tradition here of doing work of excellence and being professional and having a great relationship with the community. And all 3 of them did that in their way. And it's been impressive to watch. And so, Brook, I'll call you Brook, how about that?
What'd I make you do?
He describes being the outsider, and in reality he did. He came in as an outsider, and that's a tough thing to handle. He's done an excellent job, and he's very transparent, and he's very open. And with all levels, he meets with everybody regularly, from every level of staff to and gets their opinions and thoughts. And he bears the brunt of all of that, and that's a hard thing to do, and he does it well. And so it's been a transition for all of us. But he brings in insight from somewhere else that we don't have. And he has a vision and experience in places I don't have it, and our department doesn't have it. And that insight is very helpful in a lot of ways. And he not only brings it to our department and to our offices, or to the street, he brings it to city management. He brings it to all the other directors of the city. And he's excellent communicator, as you can tell. He speaks very well, but he's very intelligent, and he doesn't run his program by an ego, which is a unique thing. And I think that's allowed him to have a place here, and I think that's why he fits and leads us well. And so he's been a breath of fresh air. Love Chief Deaver, love Chief Kerbo, love all of them. I take nothing away from them. But to have somebody come over that can build on it and not take away takes a unique individual, and I think he's done that well.
It's always difficult. It's difficult to follow somebody that's done a great job. It's just difficult. And from what I've heard from your cops and personnel, everybody loves you. Now let me ask you a question. How close is Bill to getting a raise now that he said all that?
So there's two parts to that answer. The first one is I already gave him $100 before this meeting started, so he's recovered there. The second one is...
You are smart. You're a smart man.
Yeah, I'm well aware of where the money needs to go, and then he'll get one as soon as the meeting's concluded.
Chief, how does Lewisville fare compared to other cities of our size in police work, crime control?
We're in a good spot. This is a very good community. It's a safe community. That's not to tell you that there's no crime. I think that we experience the same national trends that most people experience. Property crime is a pretty big deal. If I could just convince everybody to lock their cars at night, like, we would be so far down the road. Most of our vehicle burglaries now are not done by forced entry anymore. They are done by checking a door handle and clearing out vehicles of property that I tell people all the time, do not leave anything in your car you're not prepared to have stolen from you. I tell that to my son. He just got himself his first car. Don't leave anything in here you're not prepared to have stolen, and then lock your doors. And if I could get that done, I'd be set. Quite honestly, the largest thing that concerns me is not necessarily the crime, because we have crime. And I think one of the things that struggles with police leaders is they're always willing to tell you how they're going to solve crime. There is no way, Terry, I'm going to solve a crime in this community whatsoever. I'm not going to be able to stop all crime. I think what we need to do is we need to manage the things we think we can manage, and that comes with that partnership with our community. If I could convince everybody to lock their doors, I promise we would have a downturn in this stuff. That goes back to communication. And then the other half of this is we will pledge to manage the things that are critical in nature that we are not planning for. Violent crime is always an area of concern. There are members of the community that are concerned about gun crime. There are members of the community that are concerned about gang crime. And I will tell you, we're much lower than other comparative cities that experience that. The things that worry me, those are certainly concerning, and I don't want to misspeak here, but the things that worry me have a lot more to do with traffic safety than they do with gun crime, because I know we bring everything to bear whenever we have a gun crime that we have to deal with. But I don't want people to wait for something to happen for there to be an investigation that will go well. I think that if I could get people to slow down and obey red lights, I think our crashes would plummet. I think our injury crashes would plummet, and even our road fatalities would plummet. Those are things that I worry about as well. But overall, comparatively, we do fairly well here in Lewisville, and that's something that we should be proud of.
Well, you said something that's important to me, and I want to ask you how you handled it. Your son just got his license, or just got his first car.
Yes, sir.
How'd the conversation go with him of, son, I'm the police chief. If you get stopped, this is going to happen?
See, there's no way I can answer this question except the way you already know, because we had this conversation in your restaurant, so there's nothing I can say now that's going to pivot anything. I have 3 boys. My oldest is in the Marine Corps. He's stationed in Yuma, Arizona. My middle one has just turned 16, and my youngest is 12. My middle one, Corey, who just got the car, I've always told him very seriously, if you have a conversation with any of my officers, there's 2 things you should worry about. That may be a badge of honor, because that may be one of those that didn't want some change that week, and they're going to issue a citation. I said, but I promise I'm going to find out about it. And when I find out about it, if I hear it from them before I hear it from you, there's going to be a problem with me.
So this kid, this is the way he drives his car.
Yeah, 10 and 2 the whole time, no speeding. Yes, sir. That's exactly what we would hope for.
Oh, Lord. Chief, we have to close now, but this may be a good time for me to bring out the amount of tickets that I have that I really need to get taken.
We also wanted to talk to you about that. That's the reason we're sitting in front of the door. We were going to wait for this to finish first, but...
I meant to sit over there so I can make a quick exit.
We'll let you know how to get your vehicle out of the impound, but it's not that big a deal. I wanted to give you this. So from my former department, I had an officer that was killed in the line of duty. This is one of the challenge coins that we had produced for that, and I know it's a former department, but you said you already had one from Lewisville, so I want you to have this one from Arlington. I know they would enjoy you having it, because I know how supportive that you are in this community. I've seen what you've done in my limited time here, whether it's public safety, the community at large, or even people that don't have enough money for food. You have really stepped up as a servant leader in the community, and I can tell that in my limited 115 days of work here. So I know that you would, I know they'd enjoy you having one of those.
I appreciate this. I hold this close, and it means a lot to me. Chief, let me just say that it's a pleasure to have you here. I mean, it is a pleasure to have you. As much as we loved Chief Deaver and as great a job as Chief did, you are quickly becoming a part of the fabric of this community. I haven't talked to anybody, whether it's the cops, city management, who do not love you. And we appreciate all that you do. We appreciate what you have brought to this community and what you foresee to happen in this community, the future, your goals. We appreciate it. And Bill, I don't know what to say to you other than, you know, I'm your biggest fan. I love everything you do. I love your demeanor. I love how you approach your job. I love how you approach your job with your officers, and it's just a pleasure to be your friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Terry. We appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with the new police chief of Lewisville, Texas, Brook Rollins. I enjoyed it. What a great perspective that he has on our community, how to make it safer, how you will enjoy the safety of living here. Also talking with Bill Wawro, whom I've known for quite some time now. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.